complete.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and this is the last episode for the series of the support ship, where we're going to finish up the asset placement, and we're actually going to get into the aft section where the engines are, and then I'm going to explain why they're different than the average designs that we typically see with my models, at least as of yet. So with this beginning part, we're just finishing up, like I said, the asset placement, and around, I believe, the 2 minute mark, I'll come back and we'll touch on the engine section and where I was going with that.
It's the unknown, the unknown. It's time to go away into the light. I feel the calming energy. I see the darkness coming, and I'm calling you.
Alright everyone, we're going to be starting with the engine section now, which is one of my favorite parts of the ship. So, the lore behind this ship is that it was created by a different organization that is part of the protagonist faction. So, that's kind of the reason why the ship looks so different compared to the other models that I have, at least recently. So, that's also the reason why the engine section is going to be kind of different than the really unique style that I've been kind of running with these last few models. This one seems like it has, more of like an engine cone kind of style, but just in a rhombus shape than an actual, cone or circular cylindrical engine. And that's, I really like that cool idea because it fit definitely with this ship. I didn't think that the rounded engines really fit with the style, especially with the new theme that I was running with. And if you couldn't tell, the ship was actually kind of based on the Homeworld battlecruiser. I got a lot of inspiration from that, especially like on the sides, the wingy bits. So that's the reason why I had the cone engines at first. But now that it's kind of coming into its own, and I've done a remodel of it, I feel that the rhombus with the kind of trimmed off corners would make a better engine section. So I'm just placing those right now. There isn't really like too much of a method here. It's just selecting the size and scaling them down so I can fit more of them in the space that I have selected there, because that is going to go into that little slot that's in the back of the ship. So I want to make sure everything fits. And also another thing that kind of I want to make sure of is that the engines actually look big enough to propel this ship in a meaningful manner too. That's another big thing that I find with sci-fi series and sci-fi ships, is that some of the engines simply just don't look big enough to push the large hulk that they're attached to. I believe, honestly, EVE Online has an issue with that with a lot of their ships. They have like these small ass engines that can barely push the ship, past like 100 meters per second, yet they're expected to be in combat scenarios and stuff, and it's kind of weird to me. So with this, even though it's not supposed to be in a combat scenario, I would like the ship to be able to maneuver, because it is in a support role, so it can't just be hanging in the back or slowing the other fleets down and stuff like that. So with that, I made the engine somewhat big, or at least somewhat scaled to the point where they look like they can push it. And I actually played around a lot with the engine cone here, and that was originally having like the offset, and then just using the automatic tools, angle tools that SketchUp comes with. I just played around with the lines, and then eventually I found something that I felt was pretty cool, and I just extrude and just add those little details and stuff that you would normally kind of see in engines, where it's not just like a face, where the drive plume just comes out of, the exhaust comes out of, but there's kind of like this layered effect that happens with them. So after I played around with that and felt comfortable with it, I decided, okay, I'm going to go along with that and make them into components or groups, whichever one you feel is better. I do believe that groups might be better than components, or I may have them backwards actually, where components are better than groups in terms of the program and how it runs. So here, just placing them in, seeing how they look, see if I need to make any adjustments. And then here's where the ship really kind of ties into the universe. And that's where I have basically the specific section here that is a part of the reactor housing. And I'll have like an offset, and I'll have this face pulled out. And I'll have like these little minute like details that go kind of in all on all angles of the shape here, and you'll see here in a moment what I mean. But that kind of is like my protagonist distinguisher, apart from some of the other themed features that I have with a lot of my ships now. So I really like that, and it really sets them apart. And this actually was really inspired by The Expanse, really, the Donager, and how like the reactor core was kind of in the back, or at least the reactor housing was in the back. So it's kind of taken from experience from that. I will say that some of the newer ships actually have something different in the back than the reactor housing, so it's gonna be really cool when you guys see that. But after this, we're gonna go into the top parts of the aft section, where we have some space that we can definitely fill up with some detailing. I didn't want to put anything too intricate back there, because then we'll kind of throw off the overall detail style that I have, or level of detail that I have for the ship already. So I decided to go with this kind of array of indents here that you'll see, and when I'm finished with it, I'll just copy and paste those sections on the bottom so it reflects the top, and we can keep the consistency. And then after that, it's just minor cleanup stuff, and we'll be finished. So thank you guys for sticking with me through this. I know that I've been gone for a while because I've been working on the bigger project that's coming for the channel, and that's incorporating hopefully all of the models that I have, or at least the newer models that have come after when I lost my initial set of models that you see on the channel that are when I first started. But yeah, we're getting close. I did tell one of the viewers who was in my Discord channel that I was going to document as much as I could as far as the sets and stuff for the upcoming story that I'm building. So be looking out for that. And you guys will have behind the scenes work, before the story actually comes into fruition. And I guess the surprise will be in what ways that you'll see the models being used in the story, and I think that's gonna be really cool. So thank you guys again for sticking with me and sticking through the support ship. I will say that I'm gonna have to go through and texture and probably touch the ship up a little bit more before I actually import it into the story, because it is a pretty cool aspect, or has a pretty cool aspect in it. And yeah, so again, I can't thank you guys enough. I know this is like the third time I've said it, but thank you guys for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed this. There's plenty more to come, and I will see you guys in the next series.